Hi, I'm Words here, and I'm making a game. I'm going to make this guy fall and hit the ground down here. That is what I am doing. Yeah. So, first, what we need to do is we need to come into character, and we need to add an event for step, which happens repeatedly every second. So, that's when things happen. It's like a frame. You might have heard of such things. And technically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be saying y plus equals the vertical speed of the character. That's a thing that's always going to be true, essentially. It's going to be adding that, but sometimes it will be 0 because it'll be... well, actually what it's going to do is it's going to test whether or not the character's on the ground, which we'll need a script for. And for now, I'm just going to make a script called onGround. I'm just going to make it return false. So since it returns a boolean, I can just say if not on ground, and as long as that's false, which for now it always is, it will do what's in this if statement. Ta-da! So then we're saying y plus equals vert speed. What we're going to say is we're also going to add gravity to vert speed. So we're gonna, so that'll add gravity to vert speed. But if the vertical speed is greater than term did I say vel? I don't even remember. I have to remember my own damn. There, term velocity, which terminal velocity, which is the maximum falling speed for your character here. Then we have to say vert speed equals term vel. We'll say so it doesn't add to it. We'll say if it's less than term vel, then it'll do it. Otherwise, it won't even bother with it. Might be more checking than is necessary, actually, but whatever. Just stick it in there, just for funsies. And then, okay, so that should work out. It should fall now. Starting from 0, it'll speed up as it falls, and it'll fall right off the edge of the screen because I didn't tell it to actually stop. Cute. I like cute things. Did you know that? Anyway, yeah. Whee! Okay. Yeah. Gravity actually seems a little high, maybe? I don't know. I'll leave it at 2. Actually, that seems really slow. Let's check something. If vert speed is less than term vel, vert speed plus equals grav. Seems like it should work. I wonder what his actual speed was. Wish you could debug that. That's what debugging is for figuring things out. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Let's see what Chara, I think is what I called him, dot vert speed. Yeah, it's 12. I guess it's just not as fast as I thought it would be. Whatever. I'll just increase it really quick. Let's make it like 18 or something. Doesn't really matter what it is, because all we really care about is making it so that he hits that damn ground. This is going to be for when he's on the ground, I guess. For now, we're going to make a script. We're going to call it ground check. It's going to check whether or not the character has hit the ground. And we're going to do that by, we're going to get him to check for the ground. What we've got to do is we have to figure out, first off, we have to make sure we've given this guy a, this is the node he's on currently. The game has those nodes. This node is the bottom left one, and that's the node he is just passed, supposedly, depending on whether or not I put the character in the right place. I haven't actually looked. Let's find out. Where is he? Let's move him a little more to the left to make sure. Okay. Now what he ought to do is we should be able to get him to fall and hit the ground now. In theory, anyway. That's not the right script. There we go. Ground check. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, I've shown this before, but maybe you're new. Maybe you weren't here last time. Maybe you skipped a video. Let's see, we got nodes, okay? That's a thing that we're doing in this. And those nodes represent points on our level's, bottom floor, basically. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, first we're going to figure out which node, like this is the node that the character is on, that's the one that's stored for the character, if the character is here. And this is the node that's next, and what we're going to do is we're going to say which node is bigger, and then I'm going to, well basically I'm going to divide by the height of the, how did this work again? It was like you subtract out the node that's smaller, and then you divide like the distance between them or something. Right now I remember what it is. Seems this is why these videos are fun, isn't it? Because I don't know what I'm doing. You take the character's distance into it, and you divide it by the total distance, and then you multiply it by the height of the higher up node, and that is the height of the ground where the character is. Very simple. Very simple. I couldn't possibly screw this up, so let's watch me do that. First off, so we have to take new level node. Well, we have to say game dot. Technically, I ought to do arguments and crap in this. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. So we're going to say argument. The first argument is, I don't know, the node for the character, let's say. So let's say characters node. This way anything can run this script and it should work. Characters X position, and then we have to put in I guess that's all we have to do. Well, and we have to put in the character's Y position too, don't we? Or we could just give it the character, and then we could be able to figure it out from there. Yeah, actually that would be a lot simpler, wouldn't it? I'll just say argument 0 equals character ID. Simple. Simple! It's so simple! Why didn't I do that before? So what we're going to say is if argument 0, what we have to do is we have to say, first we have to test which one's bigger, because that's important for exactly how we do this. So what we do is we say if game dot, and I called them level node like that, so I'll say if game dot level node y 0 dot leave this level node like that. Okay, dot level node is greater than level node y argument 0 dot level node plus 1. So if the node that the character is on is higher up than the node that than the next node, what we're going to do is we're going to say variable n for the node that we're actually testing against, and we're going to say n equals game dot level node y or 0 dot level node, else level node plus 1. So if the first node is the bigger one, it's going to go with the bigger one. Well, okay, it's always going with the bigger one. You know what I mean? Whichever one's bigger, that's the one it goes with. That's what I meant. Yeah. And then we're going to add in the rest of the code, I guess. So we're going to make it so that it takes that and it multiplies it by this. So what we're going to have to figure out is, because of the way this works, let's see, the again, I can do that. The character, like, this might be, this might be the edge of the actual level, So this is 0, let's say, and this is some other number. This is some other number. What we actually have to do is to essentially normalize it so that this becomes 0. And then this is the distance from there to there. Is we actually get that distance. The way we do that is we actually just take, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the x position of this and subtract out the x position of that, and I can get the actual distance for that. And then I can take the character's distance and I subtract out the x position of this from the x position of the character, and that should get me so that that is 0, basically. That should give me the character's position relative to that. Simple maths that I actually did a lot of trial and error when I was younger to figure out, because I've always been horrible at maths. So I'm going to do this though, and this shouldn't be too big of a deal now, because I am no longer quite as dumb, okay, so we do, I should just save this to a variable. So, char x node, say node len for the length of the nodes. So what we're going to do is char x is argument 0.x minus game.level node x argument 0 dot level node. So that does that first bit. There we go. That does the figuring out this guy's relative x position. And then we got to figure out the node length, and that is game.level node x dot level node. And I am actually doing all the code here because I'm not sure I have enough material for an entire video. Is mostly why. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up going over. Actually, I don't know. We'll see. But I think I only have 15 more minutes left. So well, I don't know. So we're subtracting out game.level node x argument 0.level node. Hell, maybe I'll just keep going if I feel like I need to, and then I can edit some of this stuff out. In fact, I might edit out what I'm saying right now, but I won't, for humorous effect! Anyway, so and then we get the relative length. We get the, well, not relative, it is the length of the distance between the two nodes. That should be the distance between those 2 points, because of the simple maths going on here. And we can then do the simple division, which is char x over node len. And that's actually the what we're going to do is we're going to take that, we're going to actually just return this. Now what we're trying to do is we're going to try to check if the actual y position of the character is bigger. So what we have to do is return y argument 0, since that's the character that we're talking about. Got y is we have to test if it's less than or equal to. Actually, no. Come to think of it, we actually have to. This is also going to be the thing that snaps him to the ground if he's past it, so that we can make sure he doesn't end up sticking down below the ground, so that we snap him back up so he sticks to the ground instead, as opposed to on ground. That script is actually just going to return whether or not his current position is exactly at the ground, and if it is, then we won't need to do any other. We won't need to have him fall. We won't need to do these tests. So it's a separate script. So what we're going to do is our x argument 0. So we're going to take the. So we have to test if y. Well, we'll just say his. We don't know who he is. Y is less than. Well, actually greater than, because of how that works, is greater than, and what we have to do is we have to say char x divided by node len. And we have to multiply that by the height of the next node Now, no. We stored that to a variable. We don't know which node it is. We're actually multiplying by n. And actually, come to think of it, that whole thing switched depending on whether or not that one's bigger or not. So we might have to do that completely differently. Oh my. Here, we'll move this. Yeah, this is simple. I can move this down here. All we'll say is n. Instead, we'll say, okay, this is simple. Simple, no big deal. Instead, we'll say n equals that times char x divided by node. Then, that's simple. That's for when the, well, actually, no, that's there. That's actually, that's what happens with it, but it's actually switched around. For this one, we actually have to take this. Yeah, that should work, probably. Here's what I'm doing here. Let me explain. This is, you know, when it's this way, that's fine. You know, because like I take you know, like the distance that this guy is, I divide it by the total thing, and then I multiply that by the height, and that's the height. But, badoosh! When it's the other way around, I have to actually take this distance, right? It's flipped, because everything's flipped, and I have to take that distance divided by the whole thing and multiply by this, actually. And that actually ends up being different, because I then have to actually take, I have to do the simple maths that where I take the whole thing and I subtract out that, and then that's how I get that. So it's pretty simple. You can probably you can follow my mouse flying around the screen. Yeah, you've got that, right? You got that, right? You figured that out. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on. If his y is greater than this n number here, then we're gonna snap him, bam, to it. So now he snaps to that position. The game should do any, if we're doing that sort of check, like if we're, you know, setting y to n, and n happens to be, say, you know, 203.5, it'll do the rounding automatically, and I'd rather let it do the rounding automatically than yeah. Which, you know, that should work out, actually. Trust me. I'm pretty sure that'll work out. And if it doesn't, it should be a pretty easy fix. I'll just tell it to round it myself if it doesn't like rounding it for me. So, that should work now. So, when he's falling, we very quickly, we do we do ground check as he falls. And then on ground needs its actual code. We might actually make some of this stuff. Some of this we might put into another script, since that's going to need it too. Let's see. I'm rubbing my chin and thinking about this. Can you hear that? Anyway, game yeah, it has to do all of that, doesn't it? I think so, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and make this its own script. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to make it its own script. Check disk, create script. I'll call it, ground height. And it'll take in the same thing as that, and what it'll do is it'll actually return n. And n is obviously, that's the height of the ground at the position of the character. So now ground check, instead of doing all of this crap, we'll just do ground height, like that. And it'll just check if it's greater than ground height. Ta-da! check, and then we can do on ground. We can very quickly just say if we can return. Well, we should actually take in an argument. Oh, right. That reminds me. That takes an argument, so we have to actually put in an argument when we put in... Oh, I heard you like scripts in your scripts, so I made a script that has a... bad joke. Argument 0 is character ID. Okay. So return argument 0.y is equal to ground height argument 0. There, done. So now if the character is at the height of the ground where it currently is, it won't do any of that stuff. It won't do that stuff. It won't do the falling stuff. Ground check. Actually, what we have to do is we have to say if ground check. What is ground check? Does it return anything? We could tell it to return on ground argument 0. So then we can say if ground check. So if he hits the ground while he's falling, then we can say vert speed is 0 because he's not falling anymore. And that should also snap him to the that'll do the check, but it'll also snap him to the ground if he falls past it. In theory. Watch it fail. That's what we do when we press test. Yeah. Go. Oh, there's an argument for the thing, and I didn't put a thing in the thing. Why, how, what, where? Huh? What? Huh? Where? What? Why? Where did I do it? There it is. Yeah, I can spell. Alright, now I'm giving it its actual ID. That should make it work. I didn't actually put the argument into the script that I put an argument in. And now it still doesn't like it. Unknown variable level node. It liked x, argument 0.x, so it knows what I'm talking about. But argument 0 doesn't have a level node. I know why though. No, I don't. Wait, no, this is running in him. It's not running in the game. That's created first. Okay. The only place that this script runs is in him, so if... let's try something. Okay. Let's do some debug. That's what it's there for. We might just barely eke out this. We might get this done in a minute here. Okay. We know that that actually does get the proper ID. Oh, it's not! That's fun. It's calling himself the wrong thing. It should be... Oh, I put in the wrong thing. I hate that. Maybe it's actually... I doubt that that'll help. Oh well. Let's find out if it does anyway. This shouldn't work this way. I could have sworn this wasn't how this worked. Oh. It actually almost works. It gets the wrong height though, for some reason. It's actually kind of amusing to a certain extent, except for the part where it doesn't work right. Let's figure this out. Let's see. What do we do wrong? Yeah, I don't get what's wrong, actually. Well, that's a great place to leave this video off, isn't it? Oh my. I don't really see what's wrong with this at all. This is one of those ones where I might end up tinkering with it outside of the videos and then come back with a new video where I explain what I did wrong. This might be very... Debug can be kind of boring to watch, I'll bet. So I might just stop this video here and start a new one in a little bit when I figured this one out. But we got the basic idea of it essentially, right? Come on, load. Obviously it does stop, and I'm able to move right and it moves up as if it's going up the side of this. It never actually adds. It needs to figure out, I'll add a script to tell it when it passes a node, which might prove interesting. It might actually, when I pass that node, let me do that really quick. We'll make a node check. And I'm not actually going to do that anymore. I'm going to assume, just to make this simpler, that what we're looking at is, well, this character. Because that's who's going to be running this in the end. I know that I like to put things with arguments and everything to make so that anything can run it, but only one thing's going to need to run this. And that was stupid to try to do this, because it just ended up being a nuisance. So I'm going to fix it. Ta-da! There. Fixed. Okay. Now I'm going to make that script. Node check, and it's just going to say if x is greater than dot game dot level node x level node plus 1. There. Let's make him check and check. Let's see what happens. So now he's gonna, she should be able to actually figure out if he passes that next node. Now. It does work. It's just, it's, well, it can't go left because I didn't do that part yet, but, I saw, this is actually kind of interesting. I wonder why how I managed that. Why it is that it's using the wrong Y positions. Oh well, I'm out of time. I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out in a little while, and then I'll maybe make a new video explaining what I've done to fix it. But for now, I'm being messaged by some asshole. I'm sorry, Guji. You're not an asshole. He doesn't watch these, actually. But goodbye. 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 Good day. Good day. Good day. I watch Hat Ventures. Good day.